Welcome back to Tu Akedemy. We're going to teach you how to do continuity part 4. This time the continuity, instead of graphing and stuff, we're going to use, we're going to directly see if something exists given points, like 0, 1. Okay, it gives you this. They don't give you the x equals something, but they still give you the function like f of x equal x squared plus 1. So I'm going to teach you the theorems and stuff. So one of the theorem is if it's like this, if the function is like this, if the function does not have a fraction, it doesn't have a fraction. If the function doesn't have radical signs, if it's just this, then every number, all numbers, every domain, every d's, every r, they're all real numbers. All real numbers are there. You know, it won't go away. They're there. Why? Because there's nothing stuck. For fractions, the down part cannot be 0. For this thing, the inside cannot be negative unless it's cubed. Then it could be negative. But we're going 2's right here, so just square root. If it's square root, it cannot be negative. So there's stuff that you cannot put in here. But for here, I can put in anything. This can be negative. This can be a fraction. This can be positive, negative, anything I want. So 0, 1, it's continuous. So the 0.01 it is continuous inside. So now we hit some fractions. So let's say f of x is equal to 4 square root of 4. 4 minus 4 square root of 4 minus x. 4 minus x. I mean x minus 4, right? Square root of x minus 4. So how do we solve for this? We use the thing. So because we know it cannot be negative 1, so we will go f minus 4 is bigger and equal to 0, because technically square root of 0 is equal to 0, because 0 times 0 is 0. See? So it still can be 0, but it's just not negative. So we transpose. So x is bigger or equal to 4. We can see if we use something that's more than 4, let's say 3, then 3 minus 4 will give you negative 1, which is not allowed. So everything that's 4 bigger than 4 is allowed. So what do we know? If the point I give you is 0, 4, then it exists because it's equal to 4. But if the point I give you is 0, 1, 0, 2, negative 1, negative 2, negative 1, 3, something like that. If it's small, if there is something smaller than 4, then it absolutely doesn't exist. Nada, nothing exists. It doesn't, nope, won't exist. It's not there anymore. It's discontinuous. Now for fractions, let's see. I go f of x is equal to 1 over x minus 1. What do we know? It cannot be 0. So how do we know that? So how do we solve for that? Easy. 1 minus 1 will give you 0. 1 minus 1 will give you 0. But can fractions be negative? Yes, there are negative fractions. So it can be negative. So the only thing that's not allowed is 1. Which means if the point is 0, 1 or 1, 0, then it's not allowed. But then if the point is some other number, then it's allowed. You see? And now we're gonna throw in some fancy stuff. Like let's say x minus 2 over x squared minus x minus 2. Oh no, how do we not make that 0? What do we know? Then we do the fancy thing that we make it back into 2. We find what times what equal gives you this. What we do, we multiply this and this. But instead of x, we multiply the number beside. X is basically 1x. So 1 times negative 2 give you negative 2. Then we find number that multiplies together gives you negative 2, but gives you negative 1 because it's negative x. Negative x is equal to negative 1x. So what times what gives you negative 2, but also gives you negative. But when you add it together, it's negative 1. So negative 2 and 1. Why? Negative 2 times 1 gives you negative 2. Negative 2 minus 1 gives you negative 1. See, it fits. So what do we know? So this 2, x minus 2, and x plus 1. You see, if you don't believe me, multiply x times x squared times 1, 1x minus 2x minus 2. 1x minus 2x, x squared negative 1x minus 2. X squared negative 1x, x squared minus x minus 2. It's the same thing. So these two numbers, when you say it's not equal to negative 2 or it's not equal to 1, you're wrong because it's x minus 2. So x minus 2 equals to 0. Transpose x equal to 2. Transpose this, x equals negative 1, which means x cannot be any of these two numbers. It cannot be 2, it can be negative 1. Why can it be negative 2? Because it says x squared minus x. So if it's negative 2, negative 2 squared, 4 minus 2 minus 2, plus 2, because this one's negative, plus 2 minus 2. What does it give you? 6 minus 2. Let's give you 4. It's positive. See, it's positive. It's not negative. It's not even 0. We're just avoiding 0. So x cannot be 2. X cannot be negative 1. If it's 2, what happens? 2 squared, 4 minus 2 minus 2 gives you 0. 0 in the fraction? Is 0 under a fraction? No, not allowed. No, no, no. So if any of the points have these two numbers, then it's not continuous. Is this continuous? It is, because it's negative 1, but this is positive 1. But if I say, oh, 2, 2, oh, no, this does not exist because not allowed 2, then this is discontinuous. This is how you know if a graph is discontinuous or continuous given function and the point. Bye.